Hey guys, welcome back to My Builds. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an introduction to LEGO Pneumatic. So first off, before I start here, this isn't paid by anybody, so all the parts here were bought by and paid for by me. I'm not doing this for, as I said, any sponsorship or anything like that. I also did feature some pneumatic functions in my Ford Raptor mods video I think it was like a couple days ago or about a week ago or so. And so I didn't get to do this video prior to then, but now I'm doing this video. So I guess this video is really just meant for those who want a better understanding of LEGO Pneumatic, the concept, and just the basics. So first off here, let's start simple. This is a LEGO Pneumatic hand pump. There are about 3 variations of these. This is the most modern version that I have or that I can get my hands on. LEGO has one just like this, except it's not square bottom like this. It's completely round. It's a Technic one, but it's also blue. That's used in newer pneumatic sets. I don't know why they changed it, but this is the, I guess, past or older pump now, but it's just the one I have here in the shop. Another one I've got here in the shop is this one here. It's a smaller scale, just meant for small builds, small functions. Yeah, I don't have any other real pumps than those two. And these two pumps can be applied to motors and other stuff like that to pump air without your physical work. So that's pretty awesome. Some other parts here are the cylinders. This is a medium cylinder, non-modified, so it's not going to be extremely high performance. Just to put it out there, non-modified parts are a lot cheaper than the modified parts. But if you're looking for good modified parts, I would check out greengeckoworkshop.com. He sells pretty good modified LEGO parts. These obviously aren't modified. These are just standard parts, nothing too crazy. This one right here is the longer, thin actuator cylinder. As you can tell, it's also non-modified. All these are non-modified, of course. But this one here is a lot skinnier. I think they call it the thin or the skinny cylinder. This also has a small version. And then, of course, with this medium cylinder, there's also the long medium cylinder, or the large cylinder, I believe they call it. The main difference between cylinders and pumps is that the pump has one valve opening, not valve, but like opening, outlet or inlet for air. And then this cylinders have 2, one on top, one on bottom. And that is because these have like a one-way valve kind of built in, so that you press down, it pushes out air, you let go, and air goes back into the cylinder and refills without going in through here. Honestly, I don't really know how that works, but I guess that could be for another video. But yeah, that's the difference between a cylinder and a pump. So now, just a few other pneumatic parts here. These are LEGO T connector pieces. These are used for connecting hose systems together. These come in multiple variations, colors, designs, stuff like that. Next up here is the just the connection part that can be hooked onto Technic builds. I'd say this is really handy if you're trying to just secure the hose into a specific place and then have the same hose running to the point. The main difference with these is that the T is meant to join 2 hoses to 1 or 1 hose to 2, while this one is just 1 hose to 1 hose. Yeah, that's really the only difference between those, and of course the color. The switch here is also another pretty complex one here, because you turn it this way and this input are connected. This way it's just middle input, and this way it's just 2 over here. Here, let me take this off. This is how the switch will come when you buy it, but I just put one of these on there. Makes it a little bit easier to flip it. Gives you a little more leverage. Next up here are the hoses. Obviously the Lego ones or the other brand ones will come a lot longer, but this is just cut down for the video. I've got a bunch of long ones in a drawer. This here is a pressure gauge. It reads the pressure in PSI, and as you can tell, it also gives you the bar reading. It gets up to about 4 bars, which is about 60 PSI. I've only gotten it to be about 50 PSI. Lastly here, just to get into real detail, this is the air tanks Lego has created. You can use other sources and structures as air tanks, but these are the ones Lego makes, so just a reference there. I will be making a video sometime in the future on a air tank that stores more than this can, and probably better than this can, honestly. So to get into basic systems here, we start out with a basic pump through this hose to a cylinder. That's a pretty basic system, I'd say. What we're gonna need for this are some parts here. Let me grab them. Lego also made sure that their hoses were not super tight, so when you make your connections, they are going to be a little tricky, but if you just give them a good push, it'll go right on there. And if we bring this hose onto this here too. All right. Now, as you guys can see, when I push down, it pushes this up because the air is going in here and pushing this up. Then when I pull this out, put this on top, the reverse happens because it is pushing it down. Oh, sorry about that. All right, the next system here is also another pretty simple one. It is a, well, we're simply going to be reading the pressure instead of sending it to a cylinder. We're going to be just measuring it. So we hook this up to it. Now, as you can tell, when I press this down, there was a good amount of pressure being applied through this cylinder to the gauge. And if we put too much pressure, it pops right off. This can be solved by putting a small, I forget what they call it, but it's like a 1x1 smooth piece. I don't know what they call it. I'll have to look into it. But if you put that on there over this joint here with the hose on it, it actually makes a really tight connection and can withstand a lot higher pressure. Our next system that I'm going to be demonstrating for you guys is a switch system. We're going to be taking this switch and transferring outputs. So if we take our pump here, put right on there, then we take our switch and just put 2 connectors on it. There we go. Now if we put this right here, there we go. Now what we're gonna do is actually, we're gonna have to have multiple hoses because there are multiple connections on here. So hook this onto this pump here, and this will allow us to switch between what is receiving the pumped air pressure. Pretty sweet. All right, and then I'm gonna grab some hoses. I'll be right back. I have a small supply of hoses that I'll be using for this demonstration here. So then we're going to be taking our extra hoses here. One of them is going to be going towards the upper part of the cylinder, and the other one is going towards the lower part of a cylinder. And this will be in another form of a demonstration here on how to control a cylinder without using like manual switching of the hose. So instead of having to switch between the hose being on the top or the bottom, we have it just being both, and then we just switch between that, between which point gets the air and which doesn't. All right, it's a little messy, but as you can tell is on middle. So if I apply air pressure, nothing will happen. It'll simply push the hose off the system. So what we want to do is flip the switch, let's say this way, and what will happen is nothing. The reason for this is because air pressure is being applied to the top part of the cylinder, keeping the cylinder down. If we flip it the other way, you'll notice with the pressure does push up a little bit. We can push the cylinder up, and then we pull it back down. This is a pretty sweet, simple demonstration of how switches can be applied with the pump. All right, so now our next system we're going to be creating here is a simple storage system. I think I might use a switch for this. Honestly, I'm gonna have to build it and then see how it turns out. It's honestly, I didn't really prepare for this as much as I should have, but we'll just kind of see how it goes. Oh, that just fell off the table. So the system will start off with a simple, oh boy. So it'll start off with a pump on one end. Then what's gonna happen is we're gonna have an air tank like this. And I'm actually gonna need another hose to make this work. Because what happens here is, because this air tank has 2 points of input or output, if you fill in one side, if there's enough pressure, it'll just push back out this side, which I don't understand why they'd have that if you're going to be doing small projects, because it requires more hose and more complexion. I feel like it'd be a lot easier if there's just one in and out, but that's just me. And just for the idea here, what we're basically doing in this design is we're taking air from this pump, putting it to this, and then that is also going to be going to the pressure gauge to tell us how much pressure is in the air tank. So I'm going to be connecting this right here. All right, we're gonna connect that. There we go. So now the air pressure tank is connected to the gauge, pretty closely too. And then what we're gonna do is just bring this across to the pump. And as you can see, when I pump it, we are reading the current. Oh, sorry about the focus problem here. There we go. Camera's out of focus. But as you can tell, when we pump, we are applying pressure to the air tank, which goes to the gauge. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I honestly haven't tested, so I don't know the max system pressure, but I'm gonna assume it's pretty high because this thing's already making air noises at me. Like, it almost sounds like it's like hissing, or like you can hear like the sound it makes because the hose is starting to slip. Oh, there we go. Because the hose slips off and then air pressure quickly drops. My camera is way out of focus. Hold on, guys. There we go. Ugh. I don't know why it keeps doing this. So yeah, through this mess, you guys can understand how that works then. Now I'm going to be showing you guys a system that makes use of a switch, a air pressure supply, and a gauge, all put together. So this right here is what you'd call a Lego pneumatic engine. This is a simple cylinder engine system that runs off of air, or compressed air in our case. How this basically works is when this flywheel rotates, it spins this large gear. This gear is connected to the crankshaft, which rotates, pushing this cylinder head up and down in the cylinder. As this happens, this is rotating this pinwheel here, which is rotating this arm up and down, which moves this cylinder, or sorry, switch. And when this switch is in the raised position, it is open on, I believe, the bottom port here, which sends air to this part, sending the cylinder up. And then when this switches, as that comes around, then this goes open and this sends air, I believe, down. I'm not quite sure, but it creates a fluctuating system. Honestly, I don't think I can run this off of a manual, just hand pump. I'm gonna try to for video demonstration purposes, but it might be kind of difficult because usually this doesn't work very well. Usually you have to have a standby air storage to achieve that. There we go. So as you guys can see, it already tried to turn over. And it's very stubborn when it doesn't have a constant air supply. What kind of happens is, if you're doing what I'm doing, where you're trying to compress air and put it in the system, this gauge tells you that it's like going here and then dropping back. That's because it's leaking out. This engine just kind of refuses to continue running, which can be frustrating for many, but it's just the basic mechanics. That's why, and this will be in a future video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to use a air supply to power it. But for the time being, this is all I really can show in today's video. I'm sorry about the whole mess and everything. I'm trying to do my best here at showing you guys how this stuff works, because I really want to help other people out there who maybe don't understand this system and would like to replicate it on their own. Just for those who are wondering, I did buy most of these parts, I believe from Mold King. Not that they're a sponsor or anything, but these do have some pretty great quality. Something to keep in mind though is that the switches tend to be defective, so be aware of that. These gauges, actually I have another gauge over there, and this air tank, I bought these on Amazon from separate sellers, and so those are also pretty decent quality, I would say. These hoses also came along with the kit. I just kind of cut them to certain sizes that I needed. That's what you do with all Lego hose anyway, because that's how it works in pneumatic. You got to cut it down to the size you need and then fit it. But yeah, that's all I can show for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. You know, let me know if you have any Lego pneumatic ideas. You know, just making use of this engine here, because I need to put this in more Lego videos. I haven't been putting this in really any except for this video. But yeah, if you guys would like to see this engine running, or see some setup that could really benefit some of your guys' creations, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. I know I just said that, but I'm trying to get to 150 subscribers. Right now I'm at about 112. I'd really appreciate it if you guys did so. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in the next video. Bye.